California State Lands Commission has already said it will resist the plan, and recently Save Our Shores held rallies up and down the California coast and here in Santa Cruz, where people posed on Cal Beach to make a very public no drilling statement.
So I'm not surprised that the issue has come back up, that, we're back in this position, but I'm not surprised by the outpouring of opposition.
The momentum is building. Activists outraged that the only public hearing about the threat to California's coast is taking place in Sacramento and nowhere near the ocean, where concerned residents of the Central Coast live. Among those protesting, former California Coastal Commission Executive Director Charles Lester.
The message today is there's no way we want offshore oil off our coast. We need to move forward with a progressive energy policy. Offshore oil is not part of that picture. It's got too many risks.
Many California municipalities have taken a stand against offshore oil drilling. The latest are Carmel by the Sea and Scotts Valley.
That's a debate that was settled in California long ago. When there's so many alternatives that we can and should be pursuing, that's a step backwards.
26 communities already have laws that require a vote of the people before any oil drilling could be allowed. Recent polls show 69% of Californians oppose it.
They're seen as in conflict with the tourism industry, agricultural industry, and many other activities that already occur along the California coastline.
The protest was organized by several environmental groups, including the Sierra Club and Save Our Shores.
United opposition to something that's very important to everybody who lives in California, whether they're coastal community residents or not.
A letter from the California Coastal Commission also warned an oil spill would devastate the state's tourism, economy, and natural beauty. They pointed to the Santa Barbara spill in 1969, which caused environmental damage, hurt local fishermen, and kept tourists away. Erin?
All right, Phil, thank you. You can also go to the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management's webpage for additional information about offshore drilling. You can also submit a comment if you'd like. The deadline to do that is March 9th.